Friends, it's Kara from iStampin.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be making a fun Christmas card using the Candy Cane Season stamp set. And let me show you the other items that you're going to need and then we can get started. For the ink, you're going to need Garden Green along with Versamark ink. We're going to be doing some heat embossing. So you'll want your white embossing powder along with your heat tool and embossing buddy. And I've got that right here. Ribbon, we're going to be using the Poppy Parade Texture Weave ribbon. This is my product of the week. This is beautiful ribbon. You can find this in the holiday catalog. For the cardstock, you will need a piece of crumb cake cardstock. I've just cut this 8.5 by 5.5, and I've already scored this at 4 1/4. We can use our bone folder to burnish that. You'll want a piece of Garden Green cardstock. This is just a 1/4 inch smaller, so this measures 4 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to want a piece of Poppy Parade cardstock, large enough for us to stamp this double candy cane image on there, and we're going to be doing some fussy cutting. And then you're also going to want another piece of a piece of Whisper White cardstock. We're going to be fussy cutting out these holly leaves. So you're going to stamp 3 of those, and then just a strip for you to stamp your banner. And then to embellish the card, we're going to be using the red rhinestones. And then for adhesive, I'm going to be using a combination of our foam adhesive strips and snail. And I think that's it. So, oh, and most importantly for the fussy cutting, you're going to want to get your paper snips. So I think that's pretty much it. So why don't we get started? Let's go ahead and get our stamps that you're going to need for today. You're going to want this image right here, 'Tis the Sweet Season, along with the leaves. So we're going to start off by creating a background on our Garden Green panels. So I'm going to get out my Stampin' Pierce mat because these are photopolymer. And then I'm also just got a scratch piece of my grid paper, and I'm going to put that behind the Garden Green cardstock. And I've got my ink. We're going to be doing some tone-on-tone stamping, but we're going to be stamping off. So I'm going to just ink up the candy cane image, and I'm just randomly stamping this on the card front. And I'm rotating my candy canes. I don't want them going the same way every time, so I'm just going to just fill up the front side of the card panel. And this is super easy, and it's really fun to kind of see what kind of pattern you're going to make. And every card will be unique because it's not going to be the same. And let's see here. Remember to stamp off. If you like the darker color, then you don't have to stamp off. I just thought it was just a little too dark. I wanted it to be a little bit more subtle. Let's see here. And there we go. And I'd really like to get one more right about here. I think I'm going to do a little... I was going to do a little bit of masking, but I think that's going to not look right. So I'm going to have just have that be a little bit empty. Ideally, I would have liked to have filled in that space, but that's okay. All right, so now what we're going to want to do is clean off our stamp, and I've got my Simply Chamois right here. Clean that off, and we can go ahead and stamp our sentiment since we have the Garden Green here, and then we can go ahead and do our leaves also. So let's go ahead and use the Garden Green all at once, and I've got 'Tis the Sweet Season inked up right here. Okay, that didn't, thought thought something was wrong. So I'm just going to stamp this right here in the middle, and I'll be cutting this down. If you watch quite a few of my cards recently, I've been really into making like thin banners. And then let's go ahead and stamp our leaves. And we're going to stamp these 3 times. And we're going to do some fussy cutting. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of fussy cutting, but I'm going to stamp this one more time. I'm not crazy about that leaf. But this is actually fairly easy to cut out. So I think you should have some success. And then let's go ahead and do our heat embossing on the Poppy Parade. So get out your embossing buddy and Versamark, and we're going to ink up the candy cane image again. And we just need one of these. So stamp that right there in the middle. You want to get out your white embossing powder. Go ahead and sprinkle that all over. And if you have a little bit of powder where you don't want it, I like to use just a dry paintbrush and just gently brush that away. And then let's get our heat tool and go ahead and emboss this. Alright, so that's what it looks like once it's all embossed, and you know that it's done when you see that the powder has melted and has a shiny gloss to it. You don't want to heat it too much or you can burn the powder. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is do my fussy cutting. So it's important that you have a very sharp pair of scissors. Our paper snips are excellent. And the key to fussy cutting is to move the paper, not the scissors. Sometimes that's a little bit easier said than done. I'm not the best at this, but let's give it a shot. Just leaving a thin red border all the way around the image, or the best of my ability. Just clean it up right around here. Not too bad, not perfect, but it's acceptable. Okay, so there's our candy canes. And then we're going to do the same thing with the leaves. Let's go ahead and cut all 3 of these out. All right, so there we go. We've got all of our elements cut out. And as I was cutting, there is one other item that you're going to need. I remembered this. It's the gold metallic thread. All right, so let's go ahead and start building our card together. Other than the fussy cutting, it's actually a pretty easy card. So what I've done here is I've just cut a piece of the ribbon about the same length as the card front. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut at an angle both ends. And I'm using my ribbon scissors for that. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and just put some snail on the back side of the ribbon. And, whoops. And I'm putting this on the top part of the card. So about right there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do next is come in with the embossed candy canes. And I'm going to use some dimensionals. And I'm going to put those on the back of this. And this is what I'm going to use to anchor the gold metallic thread. So if you watch my videos, you know I like this technique. I just grab enough thread where I can wrap it around my fingers quite a few times. I'm just using my first two fingers. Okay. Oh, whoops, let's take the back of the dimensionals off. And then you just kind of mush them into the adhesive. Like so. And if you have some ends sticking out, just tuck them behind. Like so. And that's just going to go right there in the center of the ribbon. Okay. And then now you can take some glue dots and go ahead and put your leaves on, and those are just going to tuck in behind the candy canes, I should say. I'm going to put two on one side and then one on the other. One over here, and that kind of fills up that empty space that I didn't stamp very well. And then let's go ahead and bring in our banner, and I'm going to cut this down, and that's just going to go right there in the middle, and I'm just going to put snail just in the center part of the banner. Just like so. And then let's go ahead and put this up on the card base, and then we can put our rhinestones on. And I'm using the foam adhesive strips again. I really like these. These are so easy to use. And I like how well it supports your panel. And you'll just need two of them for this size card panel. So just easily just trim around the base, or the edges I should say. And then I think there's some, yeah, there's some backing strip on this side. Then let's bring in our card base, and we'll just center that onto the card. And that's really nice and well and supported. And then I'm going to use our take your pick tool. I'm actually going to flip it over to the paper piercer. I like to use the paper piercer to pick up the stones. This is a great tool. And I'm just going to come in and just kind of center them onto the, or just place them on the leaves. Let's see, let's put one over here and then one down here. But again, I really love this tool. It's a great price point. It's $10. You get 5 tools in one, and a great, great Christmas gift idea. And then there we have it. So just a simple, really adorable, whimsical Christmas card that you can make for this holiday season. Again, that was using the Candy Cane Season Stamp Set, which you can find in our holiday catalog, and just a few colors of cardstock and some fussy cutting. Really, really simple. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Just want to let you know that I've got 2 spots left for the Pineapple Punch Host Club. I'm looking for 2 more members to start in the month of November. It's a great time to join the club, to especially if you're thinking of Christmas gifts. You'll get Stampin' Rewards one time during that 6-month rotation. If you have any questions about today's video or the products that I use, just comment below and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.